Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new series. So this is episode 1 in street prop modeling. Now street props are very important, especially in games, and you see them everywhere, right? So if you want to get good skills related to that kind of type of modeling, then this might be for you, right? So before we jump into today's video, which is going to be a traffic light, by the way, I wanted to ask you guys to check this out. I have a second channel about photography, and you can find it up here. And that channel has a challenge going on right now. Now, if you send in your best outdoor shot, just simply mail your photo, right? You have chance of winning this guy right here. Now, this is not only very cool to protect your camera gear, but you can also use it for your pen display or monitor or whatever, right? So make sure you check that out. I'll put a link below to my other channel. I'll put a link below to the challenge, right? That said, let's jump into today's video. Here we go. Okay everybody, well, welcome to the first video in the street furniture series. Okay, so if you are into prop modeling for games, movies, or whatnot, you know that street furniture is everywhere, right? And it's always a good exercise to create something like this. So in this first one, we're going to do a traffic light. Now, before we get started, I just want to show you guys something. By popular demand, if I now click on my mouse, left mouse button, look at the top left corner there, right? So left mouse button, right mouse button, and so forth. You guys asked me so many times to do this, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. If not, let me know in the comments, and if you do, let me know in the comments as well, right? Okay, so let's see, traffic light. Now, I'm going to put this photo below in the description area, but keep in mind that when you do something like this, you have to make sure it fits with the styling of your scene. So if your scene is in Rome, Italy, make sure you match a traffic light the way it looks in Rome, Italy, right? And so forth and so on. Now, this is a US traffic light, and we're going to use that. Okay. So this is set up in sections. If we get in close, you'll see that we have a kind of rectangular cube in the middle. We have frames in the front with round glasses, and we have these guys sticking out. And then the hood on the top, it's linked up here, and then we've got the cable, okay? So we're going to try to follow this pretty close. I'm going to start off with a polygon cube. And I'm just going to take my image here and move that out of the way. So we'll hit W and we'll move that back. All right. Then we're going to go back in here, take this guy and hit R, and we're going to scale that up. And also when I hit letters, and I'll just show you, top left corner, R, 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 there you go. So yeah, enough about that. We're going to go in here, we're going to start to get something that is pretty much proportionate to what we have here. So we're going to turn on our X-ray here. Let's scale this down. Then we're going to right click the vertex, drag select, let's hit W. Okay, that's a good starting point, right? Now, if you go in here, you'll find out that we don't need the top, we don't need the bottom. So we're going to right click at a face, delete that, and go in here and delete that as well, right? Now, for the corners, I'm going to go into Edge, drag select all of these. I'm going to go to Edit Mesh and Bevel, like that. And then we're going to go in here, set that fraction to, I would say, 0.2, and we'll do 3 sections. Now the reason why I'm removing the top and the bottom is to avoid any n-gons, right? So that's okay for now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these scoops or hoods, or whatever they're called, the ones that are covering the actual lights, okay? So for that, we're simply going to take a polygon cylinder. We're going to hit E to rotate. We're going to hold down J, flip it down like so, hit W, move that out here. Control A to open up the attribute editor. We're going to go in, we're going to set caps to 0. We don't need those, right? And then we're going to go in here and we're going to go to face, delete that face, and delete that face. And we want to make sure that we have a center line down in the middle, and we do, okay? That's kind of important. Now that we have that in place, we're going to go in here, we're going to go to object mode, We're going to hit R to scale it down, W to bring it in, F to frame. And these scoops, if you will, are kind of pointing down. And for some reason, I don't want to do it that way. I don't know why, it's just my personal thing, but I'm going to keep them straight, right? So we're just going to push that in here, F to frame, make sure we have the overall dimensions pretty close, and I think we do, right? And then we are going to delete part of that, right? So we're going to hit F to frame again. We're going to go in here, and I'm going to right click and go to face, and I think the bottom two might be enough, maybe two more. Let's just have a look. Yeah, that would work. Okay, so we have that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, we're going to right click, go to vertex, and I'm going to drag like this, and I'm going to push that in here, take the next one, push that in like so, and just keep on going. Now keep in mind, mine is just straight, it's not leaning forward like our example here, so we need to be a bit creative, but I think we'll be fine. So we'll take this guy, and I think we're good. Let's just have a look at the top here. So this guy, oops, this guy right here, we'll pull that out a little bit, and there you have it. Okay, now this guy needs some thickness because, as you can see, the inside is black. So we're going to go into object mode. We're going to Control E to extrude, and let's try 0.01, which should be enough. All right, and then we're going to go in object mode, hit W, move it forward. We're going to go to Insert Edge Loop, option box, equal, and we're going to put one in here, and we're going to put one in here. The reason for doing that is if we now go in and hit 3 to preview smooth, it will look exactly like we want, right? That's a preview smooth, so instead we're going to go to mesh and smooth to actually smooth it. And now that we have this guy, we're going to copy that over later, right? Not quite there yet because there is kind of a square-ish frame behind this guy. So for that, we'll take another polygon cube. We'll hit W, we'll move that out. Okay. We'll hit R, we'll scale that down quite a bit. And hit W, move that up. And then we're going to jump into, let's see, this hue right here. F to frame. So that's kind of going to be a placeholder behind this guy, and we need to have 3 of those, so we're just going to work on the spacing here. That one would work. We'll just push that down a little bit. What I'm going to do is hit Control D. Actually, before I do that, because otherwise I have to do it 3 times, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to right click, go to face, delete that face, and then I'm going to go in, right click, go to vertex, take these vertices and push that like so. Then I'm going to go in and push that in like so, right? So now we have that, I'm going to go back, and like I said, I want 3 of these. So we're going to go in, Control D to duplicate, W to move down, and let's hit Shift D and see if we can make that work. So we've got 1, we've got 2, and we've got 3. And that's cutting it close. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take this guy, we'll just call it Creative Liberty, and I'm just going to pull it out just a tiny bit, and then we're going to take this guy, we're going to W, we're going to move that up to right there, Control D to duplicate, move that down, and then hit Shift D to do that one more time, right? So that looks alright. What we're going to do next is we're going to go in here, and I'm thinking whether we need to bevel these or not. Kind of hard to see, but I would say yes, but not sure. We're going to leave it like this for now, right? So I'm going to take these 2 guys, and I'm going to bring them in to about here, I would say. Let's go to mesh and combine. For wireframe mode, so I can go to the top. I have to frame that. Okay, and I'm going to right click on a vertex. I'm going to drag select these, and let me just bring that to about there, I would say. And then we're going to take this and we're going to bring that into right there. Okay, so that's what we have on that. And then of course we need a glass. Now the cool thing is, once we have one side done, it's easy to just copy that over, right? So then things will be going quite fast. So hit 5 to go back. We're going to take a polygon sphere, E to rotate that, flip it over, hit W, move it over like this. Then we're going to go in and we are going to cut a lot of that off. So we're going to right click, go to face. We're going to drag select, I would say to about here, delete that, take this guy, object mode, and right now our reference, we can actually move that out of the way for a bit. By now I know what it's looking like, so we'll just move that up. So we got this, we're going to scale it down, hit R, scale it down, W to move that out, and then we're going to jump into this view here. We're going to hit R, we're going to scale that up again. To about there, I would say. F to frame, W to move in. And just going to check from the top to make sure that we're not pushing it in too far. That would be about right. And the question is whether it's sticking out too much or not, but I think it's okay. So we have that. All right. We're going to go in here. We are going to hit Control D to duplicate. After frame, let's move that down. Control D one more time. Move that down. After frame. And what I want here is to select 1, 2, and 3 and go to mesh and smooth. All right. So now that we have that, excuse me, we have these three, and these 3, and we're going to go to mesh and combine. We're going to go to modify and center pivot that we're going to have to use a little bit. And we're going to go to delete by type history. Then we're going to jump to the top here. We're going to hit W to move it so we can see where the pivot point's at. We're going to hit the insert key. I'm going to hold down X and snap that to the center. Hit the insert key again. Okay. And then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate the whole thing. E to rotate. Hold down J. Flip it to this side. And then hit Shift D and Shift D. Okay. So now that we have all that, we can focus on the top and the bottom. So let's get back to our reference here. What we'll do is just take it and hit R and kind of make it a bit bigger. Okay, so we got some kind of fancy thing going on down here, and then we have that lid. Now let's start with the top first. So for that, we'll take a polygon cube. We'll hit W, we'll pull that up. We'll right click and go to vertex, drag select, W to push that down. We'll take the whole thing, W to push it down, and we don't need that bottom face there, so get rid of it. And you can follow the example exactly or try to get pretty close to that. That kind of depends on what you want, right? But we're going to hit W and R. We're going to scale that in a little bit. That should be about right. We're going to hit W. We're going to push that down. F to frame. And we definitely want to bevel those edges here. So we're going to go in here to edge 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we're going to go to Edit Mesh and Bevel. Let's set the fraction to 0.2, that should be good. And then 3 on the segments, that should be good as well. Okay guys, well, it's time for a little sponsor break here. And with that, I can't make any of these videos for you guys, so show them some love, right? And you actually might love this one. So if you need 3D models for a lifelike visualization that you're working on, you might want to check out RenderPeople. They offer 3D posed, 3D rigged, and even 3D animated people models, right? And they have over 3,000 products right now. They cover models suitable for business, shopping, sports, swimwear, evening wear, outdoor, and even specialty models like doctors, workers, and whatnot, right? So they're high resolution, 8K maps, clean UVs, clean meshes, ready to go in 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, SketchUp, Unreal Engine 4, Unity, Blender, and Rhino. Now, if you guys use the link below, you'll not only help out my channel at no extra cost to you, but you'll also get free models, totally free models that are posed, rigged, and animated. That is creating a very large n-gon, as you can see, but we'll sort that in a minute. Then we're going to go in here, we're going to get a face, just like that. We're going to hit Control E to extrude, artist scale in. And as we do that, you see that in that edge, the n-gons are now sorted, right? So we're going to go in here, and then we're going to hit W and raise it up just slightly. We're going to hit G to repeat, artist scale in again. And maybe just to give it some detail, we're going to hit G to repeat again, W to push down, G to repeat again, R to scale in, G to repeat again, W to pull up, and R to scale in, like this. And just being a bit creative here. So G, R to pull in again, G to repeat again, W to push down, G to repeat again, R to scale in, and let's pull it into something like this. G to repeat, W to pull up. So that's going to be our connection point. Let's make sure it's not too thin. I think this looks alright. Now we've sorted all the n-gons here, so no n-gons with the exception of the top right there. And we're just going to hit delete on that. We're going to cover that later. And then we need something on the bottom as well. And one thing you can do if you don't want to do this all over again is just take this guy, hit Control D to duplicate, we'll hit W, we'll move it down, E to rotate, flip it around, like so, F to frame that, and all we'll do is we'll just right click and go to face, drag select these, delete that. We're going to go in here, we're going to right click, go to edge, double click on that, go to mesh and fill hole, and then we have an n-gon, so go to face and go to edit mesh and poke. Right? So no n-gons there. Alrighty. Now you do see that little edge there, so if you don't want that, you can go in and double click on that. Control E to extrude and R to scale in. Just to sort that, right? Makes it look better. So I think this is pretty cool. What you can finally do is create something like a cable that runs up and so forth. So what we'll do is we'll take a polygon cylinder, we'll E to rotate, we'll hold J, flip it down like so, hit W to move that up. We're going to hit R to scale that down a lot. Make it nice and cable worthy, if you will. Okay, so we're going to put it down there. Now we need to have a connection for this guy, so we're probably going to go with the torus. E to rotate, hold down J, flip it, whoops, flip it up like this, hit W, push that up. Let's go into the attribute editor, let's set the section radius to 0.1. And then we're going to scale this guy down. So let's hit R in object mode. Come on. R. And let's see. Let's do something like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take the whole thing. I'll actually take the cable, that's easier. And we're just going to raise that up, right? So we got this guy. What we're going to do here is we're going to actually close up that gap here. So just go to edge, double click, mesh and fill the hole, and then edit mesh and poke. There you go. So no n-gons. This guy we can smooth, mesh and smooth, and then we can go in and we can create a couple of chain elements, right? Now keep in mind that this is a street prop, so this is kind of a high-ish poly concept piece. If you want to use this as an actual street prop in a game or whatnot, you need to retopo and bring down that face count quite a bit, right? Just so you know. Right, so let's create a quick couple of chain elements here. New torus. We'll hit W, we'll move that back a little here. And let me think, we'll hit F to zoom in. We are going to reduce the count here. We're going to go in, let's do 8 by 8, should be good. We're going to right click at a face, drag select. Let's go to edit mesh and detach. So you can now move that out. Then we're going to go to object mode, and it's still connected, so we're going to right click at an edge, double click and shift double click. Let's go to edit mesh and bridge option box. Subdivision 1 is fine. Hit bridge, double click, shift double click, G to repeat last command, and then just to make it look a little bit more like an actual chain, we're going to select this guy, go to edit mesh and bevel, and then set the fraction to 0.1. And then we're going to go in to face, click, shift, double click, control E to extrude, 0.02. Okay. So it looks like we have one chain element, and what we're going to do next is we're going to right click, go in, control D to duplicate, W to move to about there, E to rotate, hold on J, and flip it up like so. And then hit W and move it in a bit more. Now I'm going to take this guy and go to mesh and smooth. There we go. And let's see how many of these we need. So we're going to go in here. We're going to control D to duplicate, W to move. That should be enough. Okay. So let's go to mesh and combine. E to rotate, hold down J, flip it up like so. R to scale it down quite a bit. W to move it over. Let's hit F to frame that. And we're going to W to pull that up. R to scale it down quite a bit. Let's get that into place. F to frame. Let's bring it down. Let's have a look here. Alright, so we got that. We'll take this, we'll go to mesh and separate. We'll take the top section of the chain, get rid of it. We'll take our cable, we'll push it down a little bit. Alright. So that's not too bad, and then finally what we can do is create a cable to make it look a little bit more realistic, right? Now that cable, for that we're going to take a curve, so we're going to go to create, curve tool and CV curve tool. Let's jump to this view right here, F to frame, and hang on, what I'm going to do is take my reference, get rid of it, take my model, come on, there you go. And let's see, we can work it from this angle here. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cable. Let's go to create curve tool, CV curve tool. let's start, I would say, somewhere in here, right? So we're going to go in and we're going to jump through here, kind of loop that a little bit, and then I'm going to go in here and then go on top of my cable like this, and then just kind of follow it straight, something like that, right? Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that could work, right? So we have that. What we're going to do next is we're going to go in and we're going to take a polygon cylinder. We're going to Control A to open up the attribute editor. We're going to go in, we're going to set caps to 0 because that's basically all we need. We're going to right click, go to face, drag select, and just keep this face guy right here. And it's supposed to be way smaller, of course, so let us do that. I'll hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can see what's going on. We're going to bring that up to the base of our CV curve, make it small or even, W to bring that up, after frame so we can see what's what and who's where. That should be about it. I think that looks okay. So now we need to get in there, we need to right click, go to face, and that's always annoying, so hang on, Control Z. We're going to right click over here, we're going to go to face, and now we can select this face, shift select our cable here, or our curve, and we're going to hit Control E to extrude. Now it's looking funky right now, that's okay, we're just going to add subdivision, and as we do that, it's starting to get into place, as you can see. That kind of looks cool. And looks like we need to tweak it a little bit because our cable is going in an area where it can't go, right? And it might even be a bit too thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control Z, we're going to go back, and I'm going to right click and go to Control Vertex. I'm going to drag select these, hit B on my keyboard for soft select, W to move that up. Let me just make that impacted area a bit smaller. It's quite big right now. And what I'm thinking here is I'm just going to move them manually. So just hit B again, move that out. So we'll take this and run it from the side. That looks good. Yeah, we'll go with that, right? Okay, so for that to work, I need to go in here to, come on, object mode, yeah. I need to grab my little circle. Where to go? Right there, right? Hit R to scale it down a little bit. We're going to right click, go to face, and then I'm going to go in after frame. That's selected. We're going to shift select this guy. Now let's hit Control E again. Okay, so let's add some division. Let's say maybe 50 or so. And let's have a look. Now the cable, we can tweak with that a little bit, so we should be okay. So we have that, and yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go and select our cable. We're going to go to Edit, Delete by Type History. So we can now go into the outliner. We can take our curve, get rid of that, and it won't impact our cable, right? So now we have that, let's see whether we need to tweak some stuff. I would say so. So we're going to go into Vertex, And I'm going to grab a few of these. I would say to about there. Hit B for soft select. Increase that impacted area and hit W and slightly move it over like so. And let's just have a look and see what we have so far. Alright, we're going to go to object mode, 5 for shaded mode, and you'll get something like this. We'll have to bring this cable down a bit, which is okay. So vertex, drag, select. Let's get into this view right here after frame. All right. And then we'll take this right here. You get the idea. And you can play around with that, you know, to your heart's content, just so you know how the process works, right? Okay, so let's see what else. I think that's it, guys. All right, so yeah, there you go. This is our street light. Like I said in the intro, don't forget about the Nanook challenge. It's a really cool prize, so don't forget about that. Thanks for watching this video, and see you guys next time. Bye. Well, thanks for watching, and before you go, please hit that MH button to subscribe, okay? See you guys next time. Bye.